Well, good morning, everyone. This is Sarah from Sacred Stream Sanctuary, and I'm here with Cyndy Paige of Rhythm of the Earth, and we are having our second of our series of chats. It's not a fireside chat this time, it's a cafe chat. It's springtime, so we changed our venue. And yes, we each have our little cup. We hope that you're enjoying whatever you're drinking. And so Cindy's going to be joining us in Landenberg in a few days, and so I thought it would be a nice time for us all to reconvene and to let you know about what's coming up. And I wanted to ask Cindy to share with us um, her thoughts and her wisdom about the time that we are coming to. Because one of the things I experienced in studying with Cindy is becoming more attuned to the time and the cycles and how we're always in the wheel of nature, the wheel of time, which soothingly is always stable. It's always changing, but it always keeps returning. It always keeps returning. So, in times of lots of change and disturbance, which are often there and now very much so, it's important, I think, and it's soothing and it's healthy for us to um, ground in these beautiful ancient teachings, which imagine how many cycles of change those people have seen. So I'd like to ask Cindy to share that with us about spring, about her upcoming trip, and any thoughts she may have. Cindy?
Thank you, Sarah, for having me again. What a lovely way to start the new season here, which is we're moving into spring. And it is so evident, particularly where I live in North Carolina. Things are already budding out and it's warm and it reminds us, the spring reminds us so about that which has been dormant, that which is sleeping. There will always be a cycle for that to emerge. And the spring reminds us that in the wintertime, we sometimes are in a space of rest, of allowing what is needed to incubate so that it has the strength and the energy to rise in the spring. And so that's what we get in touch with when we look at all these little buds. And we look at the vast difference between winter, where everything looks like, it looks like a parent death, right? Everything is resting, not a lot of green or buds. And then, whoo, here it comes and reminds us what's coming forth within us. So we get to be very intentional about manifestation, about bringing forth what has been resting.
So, what are some ways that we can do that within ourselves, to kind of tune in to whether there's something that's nascent that's trying to sprout? What are some ways we can look at that?
Well, what I've been doing with my second year students has been very interesting in that we have been going into the woods, take a blanket or a chair, whatever you need for your body, sit on the ground, whatever you need, log, and just go into the quiet, close your eyes and listen to creation emerging all around you. Listen to the birds. You can almost hear all the buds. Time. It's time. And then we can get in touch with that inside of ourselves. What are we ready? What is ready to be seen, to be birthed? Might be a project, might be a education, might be a job, might be a relationship, might be a new path entirely, some sort of transformation. We are in the midst of transformation. We can also step into meditating on this very intentional question. What am I bringing forth? We can pick up our little drums or simply drum our heart and get in connection with our primal self and ask. The spring is all about creation. We get to watch all the birds twittering, you know, and the deer. I mean, they're getting ready to bring forth birth, right?
So interesting. I'm thinking as you're speaking about an article that I shared with you a month or so ago that I came across about scientists beginning to discover and record the sound under the earth. And we were both quite struck with that, that scientists who were out in nature recording other types of sound, because you were talking about listening, they stuck a recording device into the earth just to see what they would get. And they were shocked to find this huge cacophony of just clicks and different sounds. And it turned out all the little creatures that are under that earth that we don't see in winter, they're all hiding. We don't see them in a lot of the year, but in winter, they're all under there, right? And they're just like sending signals and doing things, and the roots are doing stuff, and like all this sound that we're totally unaware of. So I was thinking about that when you were speaking, that sometimes at this time of year we feel a little dull, a little depressed, a little tired, like, it's the end of winter and it's so dreary out there. Not where you are, right up here. And so we feel like there's nothing, there's a nothingness. But as you say, if we tune in a little deeper, there isn't nothingness. Below the nothingness, the crust of the nothingness, there's a lot. It's just a matter of tuning in a little deeper. So that's what your words made me think of, and that's really very inspiring. So yeah, what do you think about that?
I actually often say to the circles that when we look out over the winter landscape at that apparent death, the lack of green, actually there's a party happening down there at the roots. That all the energy has been taken down into the depths of the roots of the plants and the trees, and there is a quickening going on so that they burst forth in the spring. Can you imagine all the sound that must be going on down there around that root system?
Mm-hmm. Right. So, as I understand, you're coming here to do some work around the spring. Can you tell us about your coming visit and what it is you'll be doing?
Sure. So in the spring, summer, and the fall, and in the winter, during the turning months of the medicine wheel, or the months when the solstices and the equinoxes are occurring, we gather for a weekend retreat to get deeply in touch with these energies and what do they mean to us.
I see.
And in the spring quadrant of the medicine wheel, we look to the eagle as our teacher, if you will, what we aspire to learn from. The eagle teaches us how to fly high inside of ourselves, how to soar, how to see both the tiny little mouse in the field and the forest, because they have that amazing capacity with their eyesight.
Mm.
And there are three teachings, spiritual teachings of this quadrant, and they are clarity, wisdom, and illumination. So being clear about our next step, being wise about how to take that step. Are we going to be slow and cautious? Or are we going to be Mach 100 with our hair on fire? And illumination is, how do we grow our light, our inner light, so that we can walk with that light in manifestation in our lives, with our families, with our, as we do the mundane of life, buying groceries. How do we be a light, a beacon? So these are the three spiritual teachings of this time of the wheel. So we gather for a weekend and we deeply explore through various processes, dances, meditation, shamanic journey, sound healing. What do these concepts mean to us in
Mhm.
our individual? And I will be we'll be enjoying the land of two different places in Landenberg, both with a stream, but both with a very different feel. In that one is like a treehouse in the forest, and the other is, I find that land at Sacred Stream to be very motherly, maternal, feeding us on some deep level,
Hmm.
and particularly with all of the sacred places. And there are sacred places on both of these pieces of land, which are only a couple of minutes from each other. So when I gather the circles, we get to explore both of these pieces of property and the different energies that are available to us. And then
Great,
I will also do some private sessions while I'm there. Mhm.
great. So the when is the weekend retreat? What is the actual date?
So thank you. The weekend retreat is the 11th, March 11th, 12th, 13th,
Oh,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
okay. And what are
And
the
then the following week, I'll be there for people to be able to schedule private sessions.
Okay, great.
And in a perfect world, if weather allows, we'll do a community drum circle on Friday night, the 18th.
I see. Okay, so there's opportunities to meet Cyndy, to be in the presence of others on the sacred land in person, which has been such an important part of the work. Um, so that's something we wanted to share with you. And I think we were wondering also about the equinox. You mentioned that these four turnings of the wheel come at these times when the sun is making movement that's significant in the sky. So, can you speak to us a little about the significance in your tradition of the equinox?
Sure. So on the time of the equinox, the sun and the moon, the day and the night, they're equal in their light and dark.
Mm,
Um, and so we get to be curious about balance within ourselves.
mm,
There's a beautiful dance that I love to do this time of year called balance dance. It's very contemplative,
mm,
very simple movements, but it has us ask questions to ourselves around, are we in balance? And what do we love? Do we love the light? Do we love the dark? Do we
mm,
love the paradox? Do we love being right in the middle? There's always increase and decrease, always cycles.
mm.
And I think that one of the beautiful things around the changes is that we get to remember there's always an upswing, always a cycle. Sometimes we feel, particularly in the winter months, we can get a little stuck in what I call the mucky muck, the dreary and the dark, and forget that there will be a cycle and a rise.
Yeah,
So these are some of the beauties that the changes of seasons put us in mind of. Balance. Imagine we got up every morning and we did simple little movement like the balance dance to bring our bodies, our minds, our spirits into balance.
I think we all can use that right now. So, the really exciting thing about this trip is that these gifts that you're bringing of making the body experience this love and this energy in communion with sound, with deep inner work, and with being on the land with others. All of these opportunities are something we can avail ourselves of in the next week when Cyndy's here and anytime. But if it's new
Anytime.
to you, and if you or you just want to gather with others after these long months of isolation, then do get in touch with Cyndy, and we hope to see you soon. If you're not joining us, then we, I think, send you all of the love, blessings, and light of the turning of spring, and welcome you anytime. Cyndy, do you have any final words you'd like to share?
Oh, I'd just like to reiterate this blessing, this love, this desire to connect, whether in person or in this way, to see each other's eyes and feel each other's heart. I'm so excited to be coming, and being in person is such a gift right now. So thank you all for listening. I hope to see you soon. If not, keep listening. We're going to do more of these. Aho, as we say in native tradition.
Which means, what does aho mean?
Which means it is done.
It is.
We are complete.
So be it. It is so.
So be it.
Okay, all. Signing off. See you next
Take care.
time. Bye bye.